Love Divine, All Loves Excelling is one of those hymns. It connects so deeply for people, and it's one of those hymns that never seems to wear out. We can come back to it year after year after year and find new things to connect with, like really good art can do. The author of the text is Charles Wesley, who is one of a multi-generational Wesley clan, well known in the church. In fact, Charles's son, Samuel Wesley, is a well-known composer name for many of us. Charles, an Anglican priest, together with his brother John, were very instrumental in the early development of the Methodist Episcopal Church, which eventually became the United Methodist Church. Between Charles and John, they're responsible for composing well over 9,000 hymns, most of them by Charles. Time has sifted most of those out, but we are left with some very well-known and loved and often sung hymns like this one, Love Divine, and Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and Christ the Lord is Risen Today, and there are others. This text is paired with a number of hymns from hymnal to hymnal. One of them is Beecher, Love Divine, All Loves Excelling. But for many of us, we know this text as paired to the Welsh tune Hyfrydol. However it's pronounced. The word Hyfrydol means good cheer. The composer was 19th century Roland Pritchard, who was a textile worker and amateur musician from Wales. Paul Westermeyer and his colleague Chris Rongstad, in a 2005 survey, found this tune to be the most often used tune among 14 hymnals, with a variety of texts. In the Lutheran Book of Worship, it's paired with 4 different texts, all of them with a very different feel. Alleluia, Sing to Jesus, Hear Us Now, Our Heavenly Father, a wedding hymn, Love Divine, and Lord of Glory, You Have Bought Us. It's a tune that can embody many texts and can be felt differently for each of them. It can be slow and introspective. It can be humble. It can be joyful and dance. And it can be bold. The tune has a relatively small range, mostly 5 notes. And right towards the end, it reaches for one high point, one step higher. It's a good combination of steps and skips. When planning an arrangement for congregational singing, I begin by reading the words, all of them, of all the stanzas. And once again, as is often the case, I see movement. Stanza 1 and 2 are an inward prayer, where we ask God in Jesus and the Spirit to come down to us. Joy of heaven to earth come down. Stanzas 3 and 4 are outward and upward praise, and it's us being taken up to a better place where perhaps we can be pure and spotless. These things can be illuminated in the accompaniment and the arrangement. For example, the introduction begins with a very simple melody played by the loving and kind flute. Coming down. It's greeted by the soft and warm strings of the organ. The organ strings are warm and comforting, like a good quilt. Stanza 1 is humble. Fix in us thy humble dwelling. Not too fast, not too slow, not too loud, not too soft. Stanza 2 is for choir, and there's a lot going on in this short stanza. It begins with a prayer for the loving Spirit to come so that we can find the promised rest. We could use that right now, don't you think? The first two phrases that the choir sings come to a gentle close, as if to put the phrase down on a very soft feather pillow. When the stanza begins by the choir, the cello subtly joins it, as if to be the loving Spirit moving in and around them. And between these two phrases sung by the choir, the cello and the flute offer a restful, quieting duet. The hymn changes direction about halfway through this particular stanza, where we lift up our hands, our fists, as so many psalms do, and say to God, "Take away the love of sinning," as if to say, why do we love this so much? Why do we keep doing it? At stanza 3, the direction moves upward. It begins with the words, "Come Almighty." I like to use the reeds on the organ when something is strong. So as I see it, the hymn begins with a plea for love to come down, to pick us up, lift us to a new place and better place, and we respond in praise. That's the movement that I can bring out in all of this. This upward movement is brought out right up to the end, as it begins with stanza 3's strength. A climbing interlude between stanzas 3 and 4 offers a rarity for me, in that the last stanza is taken up a step. The volume also climbs. The ascent seems to keep going with the descant. Even if the melody retreats back downward, the descant continues forward, going up, up, up. Eventually, we grow and reach that highest note right before the end with that wonderful phrase from this hymn, "Lost in wonder, love, and praise." Indeed, with this arrangement, the organ, the descant, and the choir almost drown out the congregation. It grows so big. Are they lost? They are not. They are there, full-voiced, now joined by all of creation in wonder, love, and praise.